Precious tritium is the fuel that makes this
podcast
go. There's only 25 pounds of it on the whole planet.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I need to set the scene from the noise you've just made. You know that noise.
Yeah,
I'd made that noise that exact noise the other night because you know it's like it was 31 degrees the other day, right?
Yeah, which is like
mad hot.
But, like for Britain, that's ridiculously hot.
Like when I breathe in, it was hot.
Yeah,
I felt like it was just like breathing in exhaust fumes. But I passed out about 6 o'clock because of the heat. Literally after we'd finished playing. Fallout, I honestly just my vision was fading. I was like, this is it. This is my life done. Passed out and I woke up and I put on a podcast, the H.P. Lovecraft literary podcast that reads out the story. So it's creepy as fuck. I'd left that on and it had been running for 6 hours, just constantly going. And the same part kept waking me up.
Meanwhile, these guys are looking at the numbers like, Jesus Christ, it's going up.
Yeah, but there's a audio trail in it. It's like a warbled scream, like an ident they use to move on to the next section, and that kept waking me up every 10 minutes when it went off, like for 6 hours, and I just didn't clock. So I turned it off, and I kept hearing the scream, and it was my cat up the garden. So I went, "Fuck this! I'm bringing his ass in." Ran up the garden, picked him up. He's fat and hairy, but there was loads of slugs on the floor that I didn't notice.
Was it Big Man Wayne?
No, Wayne's dead.
Oh, God, he is. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I forgot about Charlie's not fat.
He's husky.
He's a big boy now.
He is a husky. So I picked him up and I come back down the garden with him in my arms. But there's loads of slugs on the path, yeah. And it's pitch black.
Oh, God, mate.
And I'm barefoot, right.
Oh, God.
So I stepped on one and I made that exact noise. And I thought, I can't get him off my foot, so I've got to hop.
With a cat in one hand.
Yeah, so I've got to hop down the garden with a cat in one hand. Yes, and I've got a slug in my cold up foot trying to keep him alive. Right. But as you know, if you hop, you are using your other foot full force, right?
No.
Yes. So I've hopped and I've just come straight down on another one of the bastards.
No.
And I'm right at the top of my garden. It's honestly like 30-second walk, and it took me 10 fucking minutes to get down there.
Mate, you could have just used the slug like snail trail to just skate down to the garden. It would have been all right.
It was an extremely apocalyptic night.
So the moral of this story is don't fall asleep whilst listening to the Call of Cthulhu shit.
Cthulhu,
whatever.
Welcome to Swinging Through Spider-Man. By the way, it's a Spider-Man podcast. I'm James Rushton.
Hey, you also shouldn't fall asleep listening to.
No, we shouldn't fall asleep listening to this because you are going through one hell of a journey. I mean, if you left number one on, went to sleep, and you're suddenly at like what 44, 45.
Yeah, you'd wake up and be like, "What the fuck's happened? Why do I want KFC?"
It's a deep cut, Brad. We haven't seen Doc Ock in a while, but of course that's Bradley Hughes. Each week, we're novices, by the way. We're Spider-Man novices, so each week we read through a Spider-Man comic issue for the very first time. We love Spider-Man.
We say we're Spider-Man novices, but we've watched the animated series as kids. We watched the rude boy Tobey Maguire take the mantle, and then the less rude boy Andy Garfield.
Yeah.
And now tonight, the night of recording this, I'm going to go see rude boy. What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland in Far From Home. God, I'm really excited for it.
No, I mean, I can't wait to see it myself. Finally caught up with Into the Spider-Verse, which is fantastic.
So beautiful.
But yeah, we're Spider-Man novices in the sense that our experience of Spider-Man is very different from the usual experience of Spider-Man. You know, we weren't reading it. We weren't reading the comics. It was just films.
No,
films and
DC boys.
Yeah, I guess it. I mean, there's a lot of people who just play the video games and watch the movies, and that's how they get into it. It's probably the modern way of getting into it, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
but for the target audience and the people who are listening, they read the comics and probably from the get-go, as we know. And we did actually have one review I wanted to get into before we got into things. It was a 5-star review, actually. And they said, "You're doing a fantastic job, but please correct the art credits." I was like, "What fucking art credits are you on about, mate? It's John Romita." Brad, John Romita hasn't drawn a Spider-Man comic in 7 odd issues. This isn't John Romita. John Romita is still amazing part of, he's still a big part of Spider-Man, and he still will do it. He'll jump in and out and in and out. And he did do a long run when Steve Ditko finished. But this, it's penciled by Don Heck. It's inked by Mike Esposito, this specific comic book. And the team has been different for a while. So I do apologise right there. Thank you for leaving the 5-star review, by the way, before adding the criticism.
You know what? We
take
the criticism because it makes us learn. It makes us better people.
Well, I'd just assumed it was John Romita Sr.
Well,
you've been doing everything.
They credit the artist like right on the cover, don't they? So
yeah, and I think they have, but John Romita is still credited, and yeah, because he must do the outlines or art outlines and go, here you go, or he must be involved somehow.
Yeah,
and his name's just still there.
I'm looking at the cover of this week's issue, and it does literally say John Romita.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't really credited massively. I guess we'll keep looking out for it and make sure we do right by the people who made these comic books, because it wasn't just Stanley, it wasn't just Steve Ditko. There was a team. So actually really glad that was flagged up, because we'd have carried on for ages. Honestly, about another 60 issues just saying it was him.
I'm actually quite interested in finding out who inked the Spectacular Spider-Man magazine. Was that John Romita or was it someone else?
Shall we have that? Shall we get that? Shall we clear that on air right now? Because the Spectacular Spider-Man magazine, of course, is what we read a few weeks ago. It's a massive kind of diversion from the Amazing Spider-Man. But I'd like to
so beautifully drawn. Oh my god!
Yeah, it was almost like Japanese inspired, wasn't it? It was John Romita. John Romita penciled it, and it was inked by a man called Jim Mooney.
Okay. Pour one out for Jim Mooney, because he's the unsung hero of that magazine.
Yeah, it was a fresh look,
real fresh.
But today, Brad, we're of course talking Amazing Spider-Man, and we're at Amazing Spider-Man issue 64. Where we left off, of course, was the Vulture, the famous Spider-Man villain. He's in Spider-Man Homecoming, of course, played by Michael Keaton, who also played Bruce Wayne in that Batman film. And he's also, was he Beetlejuice?
He was Beetlejuice. He was also Birdman.
And the man who invented McDonald's, Ray Kroc, in that McDonald's film. The McDonald's expanded universe.
I didn't know that was a thing. I genuinely didn't know that was a thing, and that's rocked my world.
No, there isn't a McDonald's expanded universe, but it would be good if they made a Ronald McDonald origin story. That's the police coming for me, taking me down because my take's too hot.
There's a fire service, mate. Gotta put you out.
But no, we are back with the Amazing Spider-Man. The Vulture is back. He was dead, but now he's not, and he broke a man out of prison just to batter him. So he broke the second Vulture, Blackie Drago, out of prison just to take him down in front of everyone to prove he was the real and strongest Vulture. What did you make of that when he broke Blackie out of prison?
When he broke Blackie out of prison, I was like, oh shit, 2 Vultures, man. This is double trouble. Because if I remember correctly, Spider-Man already had... He's had his ups and downs with Agent Toombs, and then when Blackie came on the scene, he also had his problems with him. And then we know that Spider-Man's injured in the last issue as well, wasn't he? He felt awkwardly on his shoulder, that signature move.
Yeah, he took his head to avoid major head trauma and ends up breaking his shoulder. I mean, you take the other injury, but still.
If I was him, I'd just rather not take any L's whatsoever. But yeah, good issue so far. I thought it's a bold move for Agent Toombs to be literally like, say, look, Blackie, I didn't break you out because I need a partner. I broke you out because I'm gonna fucking kick your ass.
And he did.
Strong as fuck, man.
Blackie Drago, yeah.
If I remember correctly, last issue, whilst they were having a kerfuffle, Spider-Man was sort of sitting on the edge of the skirmish, sort of a la Apex Legends style, just like, I'm going to pick off the winner. But they also got there's a small child on a balcony. They got involved, and Spider-Man was like, "Oh shit, I gotta jump in now." And as soon as he did that, Agent Toombs just switched, gave Blackie that big punch, and then he was just like, "Right, Spider-Man, it's on to you now."
It's not happy.
Not happy at all.
We weren't happy at all with that, but Adrian Toombs is really showing his worth by taking it to a younger, fitter Vulture, kicking his ass. Now turning on Spider-Man, ready to kick his ass.
It's that unbridled anger, cures cancer and kicks ass.
As we said in the last issue, because the Vulture died. He definitely died.
He 100% died.
And then it was revealed, no, on his deathbed, he was so angry at the fact that Blackie Drago fucked him over. So angry that it cured his terminal illness.
It's so bad, it's good.
So, Brad, with issue 64 of The Amazing Spider-Man, we start where we left off, if you want to jump in.
Oh, mate, you know I always want to dive in.
So we start off with Spider-Man standing on top of what looks like a chimney stack, holding his shoulder because he's injured, and the Vulture's kind of diving at him.
Yeah, you just see the silhouette of the Vulture. Not the silhouette, it's a straight up shadow, isn't it?
Yeah, the Vulture's closing in.
Mm.
It's not good. A crowd is watching, including J. Jonah Jameson, who is fucking furious.
Oh, shit. I forgot about this because he was literally like, you know that bit where Batman like turns around to Jim Gordon, he's just like, "Don't worry, I'll get him." And Jim Gordon looks away and looks back and he's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Like JJ did that with Peter Parker, and he's just like, this shit's happening in front of my face and there is not a photographer.
Well, he's saying the battle of the century is about to begin right here. And I don't have anyone to cover it. It's so, like, he's chewing that cigar as hard as he possibly can.
Oh, yeah, chewing it right down.
But there is no photographer about. They're all on payroll. They're all right. They're all out. And he can't believe, why have I got this look? And I'm thinking, it's because you treat your freelancers like shit. The gig economy doesn't repay this. I hope they've gone on strike like the Uber drivers. Just like no photographers on JJ's payroll are working today.
I mean, yes and no. Like, you wasn't involved in that traffic in town when there was just like...
Just honking.
Mate, just blocking up every single junction for no fucking reason, man. I'm on a motorbike. It still took me an extra 2 hours to get home. What the fuck?
It was very funny.
Meanwhile,
you're
just there fucking listening to your fucking Fulu fucking podcast on a train, just like...
No, I did get a taxi home, and it was like, I am in a strike today, sir. And I'm like, okay. Just sat in the taxi for an extra hour.
Did you be like, I'll give you a tip if you don't go into said strike?
You couldn't help it. When you're in the strike, you're in the strike, man. I ain't no scat. But Joe Robertson, who is the city editor, I believe, at the Daily Bugle, he finds a photographer, brings him to the rooftop. The gang are all there. This guy's a scab.
Oh, yeah, he's 100% scab.
Well, I hope that he has some kind of vengeance coming. This photographer for working on he's just invalidating the positions of the other photographers who are bullied and harassed by Jameson.
He's just like, I'll do it for you, sir.
I'll do it cheaper.
There's all those fucking designers out there that are like, I'll do it for free because I need portfolio work. Fucking make my life hell. Anywho.
Yeah, we've all been there. We have all been there. But J. Jonah Jameson, he's got his man taking photos already. Literally, the second he gets to the rooftop.
He's got one of the big boy cameras out as well, you know, the ones that the ball pops when it goes off.
He's ready with that zoom lens.
Hey, we've just so happened to get this photographer who was on the rooftops already wearing a trench coat with a 50 times zoom camera lens.
I bet.
I wasn't doing anything suspicious, sir.
It's the Bugle's higher camera. Robertson's just went, fucking Ned, can you put on a trench coat and a hat and pretend you know how to take photos just for
Put
10
on Patch's mask. Put on Patch's mask. It's still in that drawer over there.
Let's just put on this sweaty mask in old Fred Foswell long rest.
Pour one out, man.
Yeah, pour one out. Let's just take that mask out of his desk, slap it on, pretend you know how to take photos. We'll call it a quick 10 minutes. Here's $50. Job done.
Job done.
It's probably more than JJ would pay the bloody photographer.
I was about to say $50 a lot of money in, what is this, 1968?
$50 in 1968.
Just for inflation. Carry on.
We need to know. Inflation is important. $50 in... Calculate the inflation. The inflation calculator is not doing what it says on the tin. It's $360, Brad.
That's a decent day rate, my friend.
That's all right. It's not even a day rate. It's 10 minutes fucking work.
Yeah, he can put his feet up, man. He can just go to the nearest Starbucks and be like, job well done. Actually, tell a lie. Photographers, you may see them only do 10 minutes of work, but once they get back into that dark room, whole different kettle of fish there.
I ask you this, faithful listeners, does any other Spider-Man podcast spend 10 minutes talking about photography freelance rates?
10 long minutes.
10 extremely long minutes full of grueling admin and invalid personal experiences.
Hey. We know that there are Spider-Man podcasts out there like, Untold Spider Talks and that, like, they're steak. They are the steak of the Spider-Man podcast. We're your humble Big Mac.
You mean you got Amazing Spider Talks, you got Spider-Man Rewind, you've got a lot of good. You got Screw It Comics, and they finished Spider-Man. They're done with Spider-Man. Doing the Fantastic Four. They do him as well. They're doing it all over. You will not get this kind of quality content. This kind of time wasted anywhere else. We're not even on page 2 of the comic.
Let's face it. If you listen to our podcast, you have all the fucking time in the world, my friend.
You have far too much time on your hands, and we do appreciate that.
Unlike us, let's steam ahead.
Yeah, so the Vulture is actually this is the longest dive in the history of humanity. He's still going down at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like crouched on that chimney stack.
He's right, damsel in distress, isn't he? He's like lying on the side, like holding his other arm, just like, oh no.
So Spider-Man's on this chimney stack in the exact pose shown by Rose in Titanic when she asked Jack to paint her like one of the French girls.
Could you imagine the same painting, right? Excellent titties out and everything, but just with a Spider-Man mask on.
That's far too erotic for this podcast.
Not erotic enough, I'd say. We need more eroticism.
So as the Vulture's slim, like latex-covered figure.
All right. No, back up.
Okay.
undo, Control Z.
Speaking of Spider-Man Rewind, there we go. Fucking delete that bit. But the Vulture's jumping down. He realises that Spider-Man's injured. He sees Spider-Man actually holding his arm, crying, and you can probably hear him crying.
His little whimpers. Why does everyone hate me?
And here's the thing: the Vulture knows he's going to kill Spider-Man.
Could you imagine how hard his cock is right now?
Fucking hell.
Agent Toombs, he just took out Blackie, right? He just come back. He beat cancer. Like, he literally cancer 0, Agent Toombs 1.
I've killed cancer.
But I love these Camel cigarettes.
I've beat Blackie Drago, and I'm gonna kill Spider-Man. Oh, I'm so hot right now.
It's the first time in 20 years.
To much to his disappointment, he's going to land, and it's just the turbulence that was holding it up. Like the air.
Oh, we are definitely the Big Mac of Spider-Man podcast.
Yeah, you want to digest this quick, it's going to hurt.
That's what Adrian said.
So Spider-Man's doing the best job he can of holding off the Vulture. What happens when you punch an old flying man, Brad, is because when you hit them, they are surrounded by a cushion of air. So any body blow, it's just, there's an air cushion around him.
Damn.
He's not going anywhere. There's no momentum. He just takes it.
I didn't even think about that, man. This is the thing about these Spider-Man comics is they'll do some wacky, insane shit and then they'll hit you with some straight up science.
Yeah, because if he's flying and you punch him really hard in the stomach, it's more like a push because the moment he's carried with it.
That makes sense.
Like, he can't do anything. He can't do anything.
Especially not with his shoulder in the way it is as well.
Yeah, Spider-Man needs to kick his ass, but it's not happening. He does go for the big punches. He's like, I'm going to I've got to take out one bomb. And he can't because the Vulture's got a massive cushion of air just protecting him, just bouncing around. But the Vulture comes in hard and he just kicks Spider-Man straight off that fucking chimney.
Yeah, he just completely explodes the chimney with a double kick.
But he turns around and Spider-Man's gone.
Oh, that's the problem when you're flying through the air. You can't lose your momentum.
Yeah, because he's got to kind of sweep back around and he just turns around and sees a chimney stack. He's like, I know I was old, but I swear Spider-Man was right there.
Takes off his glasses and just like, the wipe it with the t-shirt.
But yeah, of course, Spider-Man has to use his wits. So he's taken that opportunity to hide on the side of the that chimney stack that the Vulture's kicked through. So the Vulture comes back around looking for him and Spider-Man just grabs him.
I'm going to say, this is the most spider-like power that Spider-Man's ever actually had. To literally just
being like smacked with a big roll of newspaper and fucking disappearing.
I'm just going to disappear round the same object, just 90 degree round the corner.
But yeah, he grabs the Vulture as the Vulture comes back round and he's like, I've got you fucking now. What we have to remember is Spider-Man has one arm and his grip is going to be really weak because he's trying to hold onto the side of the chimney stack.
Yeah, his feet can only do so much.
So the Vulture just hits him in the head and just...
It does that like, when Anakin executes Count Dooku? Like one from each side.
Count Dooku is the most underrated Star Wars character.
Mate, Geezer had so much class.
He had swag.
Swag goo, man. Just dripping in it, man. Tell me that curved lightsaber as well.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
Mate,
that's exactly what he says.
Fucking speeds. There was literally a Bentler. It was like a star Bentler. I'll fight anyone. That was a Bentler.
And he just turned up randomly in the second Star Wars film.
Yeah, when he didn't.
He's the leader now. And then he was in the third one for 10 minutes.
It was just like, it's fucking Christopher Lee, man. He doesn't need any introduction. It's a Christopher Lee, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much Christopher Lee.
Saruman, man.
Yeah, so Spider-Man gets that old Count Dooku move. You know what? The Vulture does look like if Count Dooku went full, like, a white supremacist.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like if Count Dooku was, like, voting for BNP.
Yeah, like, full on, I do not want nothing to do with anyone else except me. Full on shaving his head. Just say shave his head and he hates everyone else.
We'll go with that.
But yeah, it's to no avail, man. Spider-Man doesn't have that grip. Vulture hits him, game back on. Spider-Man realizes he's in a bit of trouble, right? So he's got that one last trick. He's like, I know my punches aren't hurting. I've got no grip. I've just got to kind of roll with this fight and see where I end up.
Well,
yeah, that's it.
You've got no other choice. But the thing is, actually, thinking back to every time that Spider-Man's versed the Vulture, every single time, Spider-Man's essentially just been like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I go up with you, like, if I take you down to the fucking floor, I'll be happy. Like, every time, he's just like, kill us both.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what he's going for because he's got no other hope. His punches aren't landing. He can't even get like the drop on the Vulture.
Nah,
like, this is it.
I'm dead to rights, man.
But
there's only so many 90-degree corners that you can turn on that chimney before the Vulture's got to know where you are.
Yeah, he's just got that two rolls of newspaper now. He's a Kimbo.
man's reached for the raid.
But Spider-Man goes up in the air with him. The Vulture, unfortunately, is a much more powerful and a much more adept supervillain than the last time we met. He's got much better control over his wings. He really doesn't care that Spider-Man's hanging on him.
Yeah, not at all. Like I said, I believe that the wings that Vulture has made this time round they would be better.
Yeah, it seems like they're like mechanically assisted,
isn't it?
Like it's like an exoskeleton almost. But Spider-Man hangs on him, and the Vulture really doesn't care, and he starts just swinging Spider-Man around. Yeah, there we go. On the opposite rooftop, of course, is Joe Robertson, J. Jonah Jameson, and the poor freelancer who is running out of film plates. Jameson can't believe this, but unfortunately, heading directly at them, a sight which makes Jameson lose his cigar, which is obviously the most precious item in the world to him. And so
my precious nicotine.
That proves how shocking this is. It's the Vulture heading directly for him, swinging Spider-Man right through him like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, in tow, man.
They have literally no hope. And Spider-Man's just screaming at him, going, you need to get off the fucking roof because I can't move.
Could you imagine that one arm just flopping about in the breeze?
Like, it is like the baseball bat, isn't it? That's what he does. He just it's just like a weapon.
I mean, this is solid work by Adrian Toomes here. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he's going to take out the camera crew, take out the bugle, and kill Spider-Man. He's going to use Spider-Man as a weapon of mass destruction here.
Like Spider-Man needs any help in being a weapon of mass destruction.
What I actually notice here is Joe Robertson actually catches on to the fact that Spider-Man calls him by name.
Oh, shit.
Like, he says, Spider-Man called us by name, so is he someone I know?
Meanwhile, you're literally getting a human being flung at you. That's not the sane thinking that you're gonna have going through your head.
Yeah, Spider-Man gets flung at them and hits them. The photographer disappears. Jameson just is adamant that it's Spider-Man doing all this.
Is he fucking blind?
He says Spider-Man tried to kill me. Well, he does say Spider-Man tried to kill him.
How the fuck do you get so delusional? No.
It's like he's been radicalised by like an anti-Spider-Man website.
Oh yeah, definitely. He is the anti-Spider-Man website.
It's like he accidentally clicked turn notifications on a Twitter feed he wasn't meant to. He's like, do you know that guy in the Louis Theroux documentary that goes to the Westboro Baptist Church to make a documentary and he ends up becoming one of them?
I've not seen that one, no.
Dude, the guy, he starts off, he's like, I fucking hate them and I want to make a documentary. They pick at the funerals, you know, that weird kind of cult thing.
Oh, yeah, because they've got a house opposite them which is literally painted rainbow colours.
Yeah, so a guy went to make a documentary on them and he ended up getting radicalised by him.
That's so bad.
Literally J. Jonah Jameson. He honestly fully believes that Spider-Man's just kind of drop-kicked him using the Vulture.
He literally would believe anything. He's the kind of guy that it's like, literally like r/theorists. Did you know that 9/11 was an inside job by Obama and the aliens?
Jet fuel can't melt steel, Jonas.
Jet fuel can't melt his hatred for Spider-Man.
It can't. You can't fuse that.
But Adrian Toomes' anger can.
So Adrian Toomes flies past and he kicks a billboard that collapses onto Jameson and Robertson.
Adrian's just being a dick right now.
No regard for life.
Literally none.
Absolutely no regard for life. Hits that billboard which crumbles on top of Jameson and Robertson. It's Robertson that actually moves in and saves Jameson, pushes him out of the way. He takes a full blow of it and he's down.
Oh, you know he's looking for that raise.
But Jameson, he gets on with Robertson. Fully gets on with him.
Yeah, of course.
You're hurt? And then he turns and he's like, to Spider-Man, he's like, you fucking did this. You fucking did this. And then he starts marching at Spider-Man saying, you've hurt Robbie. You've hurt Robertson. You're never gonna hurt
the only man I've ever loved. I mean, what?
Spider-Man has a full monologue here. He's to himself, Jameson is so consumed by his hatred for me that he even distorts what he sees with his own eyes. And I'm thinking, duh.
Little Billie Eilish, just like, duh.
Well, James is just flinging fists, and Spider-Man just insults him, and this isn't the time. His mate is down on the ground.
I don't think Spider-Man can actually help you. I think he has like quip Tourette's.
And Robertson says, JJ, it wasn't his fault. So this is his friend potentially dying, and Spider-Man just goes for the quips. Like he says, "Oh yeah, you better call him an ambulance than wasting your threats on me, flathead." And I was just thinking,
he's got a point.
Very cruel, very, very cruel.
I feel like Spider-Man, he's got like dice that he rolls, and it's just like, what should I call him today? Flathead.
Flathead's really quite funny, actually, isn't it?
I do quite like Flathead.
What would you call Jameson?
Tosh Monster.
Is that Tash Monster?
Yeah.
Tosh Monster.
Tosh Monster. Mate, name 2 more people in history that have had that mustache. I'm going to give you one. Charlie Chaplin. You can fill in the blank.
I was trying to think of someone else.
You can't.
I really was trying to think of someone else. I can't. It's an evil mustache.
It is an evil mustache. It harbors energy, mate.
Jameson's not evil though.
No, but the problem is that this is 68, mate. He should know. He should know better.
Like he's so angry at Spider-Man, but not angry for his own mistakes, like having a mustache that one of the people we can genuinely call evil. Genuinely. Well, Jameson isn't happy, mate, and he moves in on Spider-Man. He actually moves in on him, fucking grabs Spider-Man and says to the Vulture, "I'm holding him still for you. Finish him off." Jameson's a dickhead.
Grade A cunt.
But Spider-Man tries to reason with him, and I'm thinking, why is he going to listen now?
Like, because you can smell him. He's that close, man.
He can smell his
just imagine
clothes.
That fucking nicotine breath down your throat as well.
Nicotine, and there's bourbon at the back of it. You can smell the bourbon from the back of the throat. The clothes are soiled.
Spider-Man's, like, soiled, sweaty, like, nastiness.
You can smell it. You can smell it all. And, JJ's got him in quite the lock, and Spider-Man tries to reason with him. Luckily, the Vulture misses. And Spider-Man just judo throws Jameson to the ground.
Just enough of that, mate.
And then Jameson gets up and just starts screaming at him, saying, "You're finished. It's over." Fucking Spider-Man just webs him to the ground.
Just hits him with that facial, man.
For his own safety.
No, he's a menace. Like, if anyone is a menace thus far, it's been JJ.
He's just trying to ruin everyone's shit.
Your man's over there needing urgent medical attention. You think now is the time to take on a superhero?
Robertson, he's like face down in the rubble.
He's got a Yamcha pose on the go as well. Tell me I'm wrong.
He's dead. He's completely and utterly dead. But Spider-Man actually moves in to have a look and see if Robertson's okay. And he says, we have to get off the roof. I'm down. He's getting back up to his feet, but everyone has to get off the roof. Spider-Man senses that the Vulture's coming back into attack whilst everyone's down, and the comic cuts to another scene.
That is a really weird place. Literally just like, we'll be back with these messages.
Just as Robertson, JJ, and Spider-Man are screaming.
Just like the Vulture is coming back. Like, we know that the Vulture's coming back for that swoop in, and it's just like hard cut. It's not even a fresh It's not even a fresh page. It's the same page.
Last panel of the page. It's like, okay, so what it cuts to, this is literally the entire contents of the panel. So the text is, meanwhile, a sweet little old lady opens the door of a sweet little old house in the suburbs to find, and it's Mary Jane Watson, and she's got a new fucking haircut.
Oh, God, why?
It looks like my nan's haircut. It honestly looks like my Maureen McEwen's haircut.
Mate, everyone's going to be on Facebook now. It's like,
my nan don't have Facebook, good luck. With a haircut like that, you don't have Facebook.
No, you don't, man. With a haircut like that, you're off down bingo. She looks older than Aunt May.
It's a very cool haircut for anyone who's over 45. Not when you're 19.
Right, it is the equivalent. It is the 68 equivalent of the "Can I speak to the manager" haircut.
She looks like Harry Osborn's mom.
Fucking hell. I swear to Jericho.
But Aunt May said she don't recognise her. I would joke and say she slammed the door in her face and told us to fuck off, but Aunt May didn't. She just let in someone she didn't recognise in. She says, "Oh, it's Mary Jane." Of course, it's Mary Jane.
It was a different time, mate.
Only one person could smell and sound like she's went through the entire tri-state area worth of weed.
That dank ass kush.
But yeah, she shows up with a new haircut, and Aunt May, of course, goes into the old spiel. The Peter Parker trademark move. He hasn't called his aunt in days. Again. And
He's a terrible nephew.
Mary Jane says, I'll go off and look for him, and he'll give me a chance to show off my new haircut. And I'm thinking, you don't want to show off that hair. Look, I'm not dissing it. I just think it's a very radical change and not for the better.
Oh, no. No, not at all.
Another hard cut.
Fucking hell.
This time to important plot information.
Oh, okay. We'll go with that.
So if you remember correctly, George Stacy, of course, the former police chief, fan of Spider-Man, big shot in the New York like gentleman's scene, I guess, in the gentleman's club. He's got a big reputation. He shows up at Empire State University to walk his daughter Gwen Stacy home. Okay,
look, the true gent then. True gent. He's getting back out on the street after his little ordeal.
Well, why? Well, that whole ordeal, of course, he was under the influence of the Kingpin's brainwashing. He was going around fucking around doing naughty shit because the Kingpin told him to. It looked like Peter Parker and him were having a fight. Peter Parker seemed to hit him, but George Stacy really fell over. Gwen Stacy walked in when it looked like Peter Parker was raising his hand. Gwen assumed that...
No, Pete did hit him. It was a knee-jerk reaction to Stacy going with the cane.
Oh, yeah, so George Stacy coming to attack him, Peter Parker's turned around.
Like, Peter was literally watching his hand clop the man round the chops, and he was just like, I can't stop my hand, like in slow motion as he just beat an old man.
It was a whole thing. But
it was a whole thing.
Gwen Stacy walked up with Peter's fists balled up and her dear old dad on the floor in a state. It didn't look good. Peter didn't even argue the case.
We've marched over this territory enough times to know that you don't argue that case.
Well, George Stacy's feeling a lot better. It's been a few weeks now. He's kind of getting to grips with it. He's getting bits of his memory back. He's able to say now to Gwen Stacy that Peter Parker didn't attack me. He's able to make an excuse for Pete, basically.
Thank fuck.
And Gwen, of course, last issue she said she'll believe anything. She just wants it to go back to normal with her and Pete. She's just overwhelmed with happiness. Thank God.
I mean, she's not overwhelmed with happiness because her dad is like being well again. It's because her on again, off again sort of boyfriend.
That's a theme of these comic books. That's
a
theme is that no one is together, but they are, but they aren't.
And everyone is everyone. Free love, man. It was the 60s.
Well, Gwen is very happy, but George goes on to say, well, actually, I'm quite worried about Norman Osborn. Right. Because I haven't seen him at the club for ages. So I did want to speak to Pete because Pete knows Harry Osborn. And Harry Osborn, of course, knows Norman Osborn because he's his dad. So if Pete knows the whereabouts of Norman Osborn, it'd help me rest easy. But Gwen doesn't know where Pete is. No one knows where Pete is. No one's seen Pete.
Again, another theme of these comics.
Well, her and George walk towards a crowd and they're all looking up at the Vulture fight and they see Betty Brant and Ned Leeds who are loudly shouting about the fight.
It's a good job we got someone to narrate it, isn't it?
Betty Brant says to Gwen, Pete, oh, you want Pete? He's on that fucking roof that's falling apart.
Oh, God.
With Joe Robertson and J. Jonah Jameson, and they're all being attacked by the Vulture, which, of course, doesn't do much for Gwen's nervous disposition.
I was about to say, because obviously a couple of issues ago with the whole George Stacy thing, literally just before that, Peter Parker went missing for a couple of weeks. Not days, weeks.
He was sleeping rough.
He was. He's sleeping his own shit and piss.
He didn't know who he was. Forgot everything. Completely and utterly forgot everything. Well, Brad, it's going to jump back to the fight now.
Thank God. That was
It was a diversion.
We didn't need the Mary Jane shit.
It was a very enforced diversion. But the Vulture comes in for Spider-Man and he kicks him square off the roof.
It's not looking good for our old pal.
Of course, Spider-Man's injuries, it means that it takes everything for Spider-Man to not fall off the roof, so he latches on, and he's got nothing left to give. So what happens is the Vulture comes at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's hanging on the roof. Spider-Man's arm isn't working. So he just goes all or nothing, just jumps onto the Vulture's legs, holds on for dear life, and just takes punch after punch on the forehead.
Punch. Oh, damn.
Just thinking.
He's already been drawn with like those little spots above his head this whole entire time. So, like...
He's already concussed, and now he's just getting punched through, like, 5 straight minutes.
One after the other. Christ.
And he's hanging on, taking... They're both in the air, and he's just taking punch after punch as they slowly get towards the ground, but he's just taking all the punches. He knows it's over. The Vulture knows it's done. Spider-Man takes one final punch on the chin. It's one punch too much. And his grip loosens, and he falls to the ground, serenaded, of course, by the Vulture's screaming laughs.
Oh, God, that's grim, that is. That's genuinely horrific.
I would like to say there is a slight bit of comic relief in the shine spot on the Vulture's head. Like, they have made his head really shiny.
It's just to make it that little bit more dramatic. Like, you know when you have those anime nerds that sort of like flick the glasses back under the head as they're laughing?
Yes.
It's like the glint off his chrome dome, man.
But no, he falls through the air. The Vulture's screaming and laughing. He's won. He's clearly won, and Spider-Man knows he's won. The last thing Spider-Man can do is just make this little web cushion as he does his trademark move and falls onto his shoulder, but it's still too much and too late. He hits the deck pretty damn hard.
That is damn hard. It's, again, only inches away from, damaging his spine for life. There's only so many times you can land on a shoulder before you hit your spine.
I will say that little move there probably saved his life.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not enough because it's still going to really hurt. But the Vulture comes in, Spider-Man's down and out. The Vulture's just screaming and laughing. The crowd disperses. The Vulture steps down and has a bit of a look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's absolutely down, and the Vulture can't really believe it. He's like, huh? Okay. No, I've actually won. I actually have won.
No, think about it, man. It's 3 victories, man. Blackie, Spider-Man, cancer. The man is on a roll.
He's so angry, he's destroyed everything he hates that is trying to kill him and get him down.
God, I feel sorry for whatever TV shows he's angry at, because 90-year-olds are angry at some TV show.
You know, when people are trying to turn their life around and they think, oh, I'm not happy with my weight, I'm not happy with life, they probably rethink their relationships. They start drinking like fucking green juice, going to the gym, searching for a new job, maybe even like go vegan or something. I don't know, freshen it all up, stop drinking like I don't know, just change shit. The Vulture, to change his life, just got fucking mad.
What's that? I swear there's like a phrase from some corporation somewhere that's like, don't get mad, get even.
I don't know where that's from. But no, I've heard it.
It's just like Agent Tomb's complete opposite. It's like, don't get even, get mad.
It's an Aerosmith song.
Ah, there it is.
There you go. But no, he just got pissed off. It's like, don't get happy, be pissed and win. But not pissed by being drunk, pissed by being pure angry. He moves in to check Spider-Man's like vital signs, just leering in. Like, is he fucking
did he actually
down?
Do it?
Spider-Man jumps up, wraps his body around the Vulture. The Vulture literally cannot fucking believe it.
It's like, fuck it, I thought you were dead.
He's like, not now, because I'm on the floor. I'm on the fucking floor.
Oh, he's not in the domain, man.
And Spider-Man says, yep, I've got news for you, Baldy. It did break my fall. I'm alive. And a bit more than that, mate, he wraps around and gives the Vulture's power pack on his back a bit of a big whack.
Is that all it took?
You need to get very close.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you need to get closer than he could possibly get.
Especially if he's in the air. Like we spoke about a wind cushion before as well.
Yeah, so the Vulture's quite literally on fire now.
Oh, shit.
And Spider-Man, he's just too exhausted. So what he does is kind of lies back on his web cushion as the Vulture takes off smoking. The Vulture's literally smoking and like bouncing around. He gets away, but not very prettily. It's like a pigeon that someone's just shot with an air rifle.
Oh, God. See, the Vulture's a fucking idiot, man, because literally one more punch, Spider-Man's dead.
Yeah, he should have just turned around and just stomped on Spider-Man's head.
One
curb
and done.
stomp. Like, that's stupid.
Because he can still fly. Clearly, he can still fly, just not very well.
That being said, if you're a very old man who is on fire...
My stories are on!
Like, he's smoking.
And this is 1968, so we don't have TiVo.
You can just imagine Doc Ock in a nearby jail cell just smelling him going, nah. That smells like a fried bird. I had to force him back in some way. It's been too long.
Oh, God. That was excellent. That was fucking perfect.
But the Vulture's gone. He's hopped off, got away. Spider-Man he knows he can just cuss him. Goes, doesn't matter where you go. I'll get you. I'll get you. And then he passes out. Right, he passes out in front of the crowd, who suddenly, very opportunistically, say, "Oh, he's unconscious. Let's take his mask off."
Pricks, the lot of ya, pricks.
But look, that's the end. He ends there.
Oh, I'm angry. No,
you know what? I'm fucking furious.
Fam.
It's like when you see something really horrible that a crowd does in a film. Again, it's like Game of Thrones. You know when they
you know what it's like. Nah, fuck that. It's like when you see these motherfuckers taking selfies with dolphins out of the water, man. That.
Oh, you know, in a movie when a crowd does something awful, like, and they're all screaming like, no, no. The main character's like, no, no. And they're still doing it. And it's horrible.
Oh, like last season of Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Or even the second season when they take that priest out and then they rip his arms off.
Oh, it's no way, isn't that Vikings?
So it happens a lot. I've seen that happen a lot where a crowd just rips someone's arms off.
Priests just don't get looked after very well in these sort of scenarios, do they?
Spider-Man has just like helped diffuse the situation for the good of the city. And the crowd have just went, yeah, let's unmask him.
Fucking, who's the real vultures round here? Huh?
Yeah, that's a very good question to end on. Who are the real vultures, shall I ask? Is it the Vulture or is it the people of New York?
Mate, I'm just, after we close this podcast down, I'm literally just going to go sit in the chair, face the wall, my arms crossed for like a good 10 minutes because I need to calm down, man.
Play some Chopin. Get some goddamn fucking jazz music on.
Nah, jazz music's not smooth enough, man. I need like piano, like lounge.
But that's the end of that, Brad. Issue 64.
Mate, keeping us on the fucking on the wire with this one, ain't there? Two episodes in a row, or rather, it'll be 3 now. Where we just gotta wait for the next.
They don't care about my feelings.
Thing. Clearly not. Or Spider-Man's.
Very disturbing that was. It was just like, why are you doing this to him?
It's so grim.
Leave him alone. Fucking Spider-Man. It's like in Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, the citizens of goddamn New York had the damn sense to just erase Peter Parker's face.
He's a hero.
Yeah, don't touch him. He's like Jesus Christ. Oh,
yes.
Don't touch him. These motherfuckers are like, let's bottle his piss and sell it.
Dirt from the Vulture fight on eBay, man.
Like, take his hair, take his teeth, fucking get the mask, cut his cock off, just everything. I'm disgusted. I'm fucking furious. And you know, at the start, I was like, oh, of course, they're moving in and mask him. Then you think, why?
What do you gain from it?
Why?
Because the thing is, you're going to unmask him and go, I don't know this kid.
Yeah, you mask him and you ruin his fucking life.
Yeah, he's literally just...
It's not like a supervillain unmasking him as well. It's like...
It reminds me of an episode of Justice League where Lex Luthor gets put in Flash's body and he unmasks himself. He's like, who the fuck's this guy?
Brad, that is it. It ends on a horrible note.
That is a horrible note to end on. But alas, it is an end. We'll be back next week, though, to finish up and find out what this scam do to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, you can find us at Spidey Podcast. We'd love to hear off you. You can, of course, leave a review. And, of course, we really need to hear off you if you've got something to bring up, like the credit of the artist, because we literally had no idea, honestly. We just assumed.
At all.
And, of course, the comment didn't help. It just said it's made by Stanley and John Romita. But, of course, there's such a big team. So what we started to do is kind of get all the information beforehand. Of course, this issue, we already spoke about the ice at the start. There wasn't just John Romita involved with that. It was a lot more. So, yeah, that's something we want to do. And because someone flagged it up very kindly in a review, we were able to find out and kind of get to the situation before we carried on. So it was very cool that happened. So we love hearing off you at Spidey Podcast on Twitter. Leave a review if you fancy it. It'd be amazing to hear off you either way. Really does make our day. But we'll be back with issue 65. And I think it must be our 76th or so episode of the Amazing Spider-Man and, of course, Swinging Through Spider-Man. So it's been a pleasure. We'll see you again very soon for some more Vulture antics, I think. At very least, Spider-Man's got to get this shit sorted. See you soon, guys. Goodbye.
Peace.